What is your worst breakup story? This is mine. I was going up to see my girlfriend like I did on every weekend. I knew I was going to break up with her. She had no idea. So I messaged her to say, I'm on my way. I'll be about an hour, just leaving now. I messaged the lads group chat and said, I'm going to do it. I had notes, every bullet point of every reason I wanted to break up with her. And they were like, send it us, let's have a look. So I sent it to them and I went on my way, drove all the way up there. About an hour, I arrived, got out of the car, my phone, ping, 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 ping. She was going fucking mental. I realised I'd sent the list to her, not to them. And I had an... Why are you doing this?
So this was my first time breaking up with anyone. I was feeling so guilty about it because he was my best friend. So I went there and I obviously explained to him that it wasn't working. And I felt so bad that I walked all the way back home, me crying, feeling so bad for what I did. To then find out that he was then dating the next day, from like starting the next day, my best friend. And they hid it for months till one day she was like literally in front of my house, and I was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, oh, yes. And I'm like, you live really far away? And it's like, yes. So, and yeah, basically, I didn't need to feel sorry, but I did.
So I was dating this guy, and at first he seemed really cool. But as we got further into our relationship, he started to change and treat me different. He would always assume that I wasn't at the place that I told him I was at. Like one night, he said, where are you? And I said, at my house. He said, no, you're not. You're breathing weird. And I said, that's my fan blowing into my phone. But anyway, the last time that I saw him, he came over to my mom and dad's house because that's where I was currently living at. And he pulled out a ring and said, hey, let's go get that Tahoe that we test drove. All I need to do is just sign the rest of the papers. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. My daughter was sick, Paisley. And he got upset and was like yelling at me and cussing at me in front of her. And I told him, I said, you have 5 seconds to get off my property before I call the law. And you know what he did? He loaded his stuff up and left. Never saw him again. And now he's married with a baby, and I feel sorry for her.
So, my birthday? Yeah, got dumped. Thanksgiving? Got dumped.
What is the worst reason that you've ever broken up with someone? I'll go first. I'm gonna be transparent here. I'm a big girl. I got a belly. I'm not thin. It's because I like snacks. So I was dating this guy, and he was so nice. Like, just a sweetheart. But I worked really long hours and I had a long commute. And so one day I came home from work and I was like, oh fuck, I know I have double stuffed Oreos. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to eat them. He ate the whole bag. So then I was like, well, I know I have chips. So I look for the chips. Nope, they're gone too. Cheez-It crackers. I know I have Cheez-It crackers. Nope, that motherfucker ate my goddamn crackers too. So at this point, I'm just fuming and hangry and just annoyed that you ate all my goddamn snacks in one day. So he's like, come over here and give me a hug. I was like, no, you need to go home. I need some time by myself. Get out. What did I do wrong? Bitch, look at my empty cupboard. And the next day I dumped him because he ate all my snacks.
These are some of the worst breakup lines in the world. If you've ever used any of these to break up with someone, you see this thing right here, this random fucking thing, shove it up your ass. You're a prick. Anyway, let's begin. Number 1.
Look, I'm sorry, we're just not compatible.
Babe, this isn't fucking astrology. I'm not a fucking porcupine or whatever the fuck those signs are. Just tell me you want to break up. Don't say we're not compatible. Piece of shit anyway, you're a leprechaun or Capricorn. What the fuck it is. Number 2.
Look, you're a really nice person. I'm sure you're gonna make someone else really happy, but it's just not gonna be me.
Go and fuck yourself. I'm a really good person, really nice person, but you want to break up with me. Are you alright in the fucking brain? That's like saying, hey, this food tastes really good. I'm gonna stop eating it. Doesn't make sense! Last but definitely not least, at number 3.
Look, I'm sorry, but I just think we're on different paths right now.
It's crazy how before this, yeah, our paths met perfectly in the fucking middle for us to start dating. Where in the relationship that our paths just go, yeet? What happened?
Stitch this with your worst breakup story. I'll go first. I used to be paralyzed from the waist down, and I started walking again, got a little bit better, and this guy from my past contacts me on Facebook. We used to date in 4th grade. He's like, oh my God, it's destiny, we're reunited, let's hang out. Great. So we're hanging out one night, it's icy, there's a hot tub, there's a big gap, doesn't tell me about it. I fall, shatter the bone, because I hit my pubic bone and shattered all the bone in my fusion. Now I'm back to square one and can't walk again. Okay, so I'm in surgery, which he didn't come to. He decided to go on vacation to Puerto Rico. Calls me while I'm recovering on my birthday to break up with me, to tell me he can no longer slow his life down for somebody who can't walk and would rather party and knows that I can't do that, so he wanted to set me free. I've had 4 surgeries since then and had to learn to walk all over again. And of course, he called me when he sees me on the internet, knowing that I was walking again, to see if we could go out again. Yeah, bro. No thanks.
What's the worst way an ex has broken up with you? I'll go first. A few years ago, I was introduced to a guy by one of my good friends at the time, and he was seriously perfect. He was kind, intelligent, good looking, and there were no red flags. All of my friends really liked him, my family really liked him, and things seemed to be going pretty well. One day after work, he asked me to come to his apartment because we really needed to talk. So I get to his apartment, we're sitting across from each other, and he says, hey, I don't think we should be together anymore. Could we still be friends? And then he did the wildest thing. After he said that, he extended his hand out for a high five. He wanted to high five me after breaking up with me. I told him I already had friends and I left.
I'm stripping down naked, like ready to fuck. I'm naked, I get into bed with him, and he says, I don't think we should date anymore.
Oh, as you're naked
As
in
I'm
bed?
naked in his bed, dude.
Props to that guy. I would not have the discipline.
I was like, what the fuck?
You're doing this right now?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, you're breaking up with me? Like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah. And I just immediately start bawling.
I mean, I wouldn't know what to do, and I would probably just pick my shit up and leave.
I just bawled. I just crawled into a corner of the bed and just like cried. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and I was so embarrassed to cry in front of, because I never cried in front of him. Like, we were not that serious.
Gotcha, yeah.
And he was like, well, what did you think, we were gonna get married or something?
Oh, what a fucking
and
asshole.
I'm like, literally, fuck you.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck you.
What is the worst way you've ever been ghosted?
So I started talking to this guy after an ex and I had broke up. I didn't expect it to really go anywhere. So we set up a date. Come the day of, I text him just to kind of confirm and see what's going on, where we're meeting, etc. No reply. I'm like, okay, maybe he's busy. Still no reply a couple hours later. I'm like, okay, still giving you the benefit of the doubt. Send another text. He's online. Doesn't answer. Now I'm like kind of stressing because just the way our conversations had gone, I'm like, this seems really weird. So I go to hang out with some friends because I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not sitting home alone. So I wait and I wait. Finally, it's starting to get dark outside and I'm mad. He sends me a photo of a crashed up car and was like, I'm so sorry, I was in a car accident. I'm so sorry. Find out later on, it was a fake accident, like for part 2.
So whatever, we continued to date after that and whatnot. He like sent me a picture of the car crashed up. So I'm like, oh my God. So I remember at the time when we were dating, his ex had posted something on Tumblr. This is how old it was. It was like a note to me. At the time I thought she was just trying to, stir the pot. So a while after we had broken up, I went to his ex's page and was like, wonder what he lied about. So I go to message her. And there's a note sitting there from, when we were together. So I'm like, holy shit, this is, 6 months old. She tried to, warn me. So it went to that separate inbox on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, my God. I wonder what else he lied about. So I Google car crash images. Scroll down a little bit. The image he sent me was on there. And it wasn't his car. I lost it.
Oh my God, this is my time to shine. So although it's only ever happened to me once, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. So I met this guy on Bumble or Tinder or something like that, and I'm in Vancouver, Canada, so I put my location in Washington, the States.
And if there's anyone in Vancouver that follows me or sees this, you know that there is not a lot of attractive men in Vancouver. So me and this guy had been talking for a while, and he's like, you should come down to Washington to see me. And I was like, okay, it's not that far. Definitely drive down. Little old me didn't notice that he was actually love bombing me. We had been talking for probably like a month prior, and then I went down there. And I was like, oh my god, this guy's so attractive. Like, he's so sweet, he's so nice. So I went down there, I spent the weekend with him, ended up meeting his family. Oh my god, I'm gonna run out of time. Part 2! Okay, wow, I thought like 3 people were gonna see that. So part 2, I met his dad, his grandma, his sister, his nephew. His mom was gonna drive across the city to meet me. They all loved me. They were like, she's amazing. I went home the next day. We were all good and whatever. And he just all of a sudden just stopped replying to my messages. Stopped replying to all my calls. He was active on social media. He was following other girls, so I knew he wasn't dead. I always thought that I did something wrong, but it wasn't actually me. It was all about him. Years went by, and when we were together, he was planning on moving to Canada to become a professional basketball player. So that's where we were gonna like be together. Fast forward years later, 2 years later, someone texts me off a number. I have no clue who it is. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, it's so-and-so. And I was like, and he's like, I regret it. I'm so sorry. My family still bugs me about you every single day. I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is where it gets fucking juicy. I know everyone hates part 3s, but part 3. Okay, I swear this is gonna be the last one. Part 3 of my ghosting story. So anyway, he texts me. He's like, I regret it. I'm so sorry. Like, I think about you all the time. And I'm like, boy, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I've had so many boyfriends since you. Like, you're long gone. He's like, I got a contract in the east coast of Canada. Meanwhile, I'm on the west coast. I was so supportive. I was like, congratulations. Like, that's so amazing. He's like, yeah, I really want to come over to Vancouver and like visit you. I miss you. I just want to see you. And I was like, this seems weird. So we stopped talking because I'm like, you're annoying and like you ghosted me a long time ago. I'm better than that. About a year after stopped talking, so this is about 3 years now, I had a weird feeling just to Google his name. Googled his name. In the article, it had said that he had had a girlfriend for 2 years, and she was the one that got him the contract for a professional basketball team in the West Coast of Canada. I was like, excuse me? I found her on Facebook. I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't even know you existed. She's like, he would never do that to me. She blocked me on everything, and now it's just like, he's never reached out again. So.
Oh, the sound was made for me. I was with a man for 2 years, and I thought I was going to marry him, have his babies, and spend the rest of our lives together. But then COVID hit, and he unfortunately told me that he thought he had it. Ugh. He said he was thinking about going to the hospital because he felt so bad, but then miraculously he was starting to feel better. But it was that same day he told me he was feeling better that I never heard from him ever again. He suddenly stopped responding to all my calls, all my texts. A week later, his phone went right to voicemail. I freaked out. I started calling the hospital, thinking maybe something happened and he's at the hospital. He wasn't there. I called all the hospitals in the area and he wasn't there. I called the police and filed a missing persons report, and you know what they told me? They told me my boyfriend did not exist. So not only did my boyfriend ghost me by faking his own death, he also had lied to me for 2 years about his real identity.
This is a story that I've told quite a few people multiple times. But so I was dating this guy when I first moved to Los Angeles. We had been together for maybe 9 or 10 months at this point. And he had to fly to Texas for his cousin's wedding. And so I was like, okay, great. You know, I'll see you later. Let me know if you need picked up from the airport. I'll see you in a week. Well, a week goes by and he hasn't come back. And then 3 months goes by. And he hasn't come back. And this whole time he's like, no, I'm just spending more time with my family. I'm gonna come back, I promise. Turns out this man picked up his fucking life and moved to Texas. He moved to another state and didn't tell me, but pretended we were still dating until I caught him.